It's not going to be a long one today. I've not got any guests on. I'm just popping in to check in with you guys. There has been some really, really crazy wild energy over the past couple of months, I would say, from March, May, April, coming into June. There's been a whole crazy set of energies going on, and there's been a lot of shadow work surfacing. So I just wanted to check in and make sure that everybody else is feeling okay, and just talk about some of the things that I've been experiencing, that I've been also observing with the people I've been working with and for, and just the whole different experiences and different emotions that have been surfacing. So I know that myself personally, I suffered with a lot of mental health in the past, and it was a really big detrimental thing in my life at the time, and it was really debilitating, and it put on hold so many things that I wanted to do in terms of expansion and growth and being able to do them things. So my diagnosis, if you will, back then was anxiety, panic attacks, depression, all different types of things like that. And it's something that really, really, really suffocated my life and took over my conscious mind in terms of just waking up feeling really overwhelmed, really agitated, angry, disconnected, hyper emotional, really in the inner child, in the inner teen, in defensive mode, just feeling almost like the world was pinning down on me and there's no way to escape from that. And that can be a really, really, really suffocating feeling when in the inside there's other ways, there's other pathways, there's other kind of things you can be doing, like walking and yoga and meditating and going to therapy and asking for help or communicating your needs vulnerably. But in that moment in time, when you're experiencing that overload of emotion, and when you're experiencing that overwhelm, and there's sometimes no words for it. Sometimes there is no word to put for that, because sometimes it is physically, like I said, debilitating. Whether it was depression or anxiety or panic attacks, there were times where I couldn't get out of bed, or when I did get out of bed, it's just manic, not knowing what to do, too much projecting that onto others because there's just so much going on. And it really was, like I said, something that I had to work through. So I'm not saying I don't experience days of sadness and overwhelm and feelings of anxieties and insecurities and stresses still in the human life. Of course I do. And I do still experience them, sometimes quite bad, and sometimes where I don't want to do the things that I usually do, and I don't have the same energy and the same flow and the same grounding force. But the way in which I respond to that now is so much different to how I used to respond to that. And that's what I'm trying to get through to you guys. Like, there is, in my personal opinion, no such thing as a perfectly healed human, because I just don't think they'd exist. I think they'd be back in source. I think the whole point in being a human is to live the human experience with the full expansion and the full range of ups and downs. So the aim and the intention is never to be a fully healed person. It's to be able to deal with them ups and downs and the waves that life throws at us with more ease and less pain, less shit, basically. So throughout the years, I did not just do one thing that helped my symptoms alleviate. And like I said, I do still experience them sometimes, and I have to really reflect in on what am I doing in my human life to create this emotion and disconnect within my own self. And the insecurities and the fears and the limiting beliefs can be some things that are really blocking us. Oh, Patricia said that it's 10:10 there. That's so cool. I love that. In the PM as well, so that's in the evening, but 10:10, I love that. But yeah, the insecurities that are coming up right now are, in my opinion, a lot of the ones that we've all experienced before. So they are all ones that are stored in our cellular memory. As I always talk about, we've got the mind, body, soul, we've got the cellular memory of trauma, and within that we have to navigate through that different layers of the onion. And what we're going through as a collective right now is that collective healing of the onion layers of insecurities, self-doubts and vulnerabilities. that a lot of us are dealt with on a conscious level, and we've conquered the programs and the patterns on a conscious level, but in the inner subconscious we have these deep wounds that are stored in the subconscious mind and in the subconscious physical body. And sometimes the soul contracts and energetic cords that we've created with these people are still existing. So these mind, body, soul connections that we've created are still ongoing and creating a detriment in our human life, but we don't know that, and we don't see that, and we don't always see how that's affecting us. So definitely the mental health, I think, is something that we need to all kind of have. We can't go into that loop of sitting in that energy and staying there, because that's where I got stuck for a long time. So I don't ever want anybody to get stuck in that. But it's also okay to validate the emotions that you are experiencing at that time, and to validate the need in which is coming up through them emotional state. Any communication from the mind, body, soul, so it's physical illness, mental illness, upset, depression, anything like that is a communication from the mind, body, soul to the human self. Something's not in alignment, something's not flowing. So we have to just learn how to recognise what is not into alignment, what is not in synchronicity with our highest heart, ourselves, when these feelings and thoughts and doubts and fears and emotions are surfacing in our human life. It's about recognising why and where that's coming from, and not just staying in that emotion and getting sucked into the intensity of it, as powerful as it can be. We have to rise above that and expand above that, and use the things that we've learned over these years of fighting for us freedoms, fighting for us truth, speaking our truth, and almost being in battle with people every single day in a human life, as well as ourselves, as well as everyone around us, and a lot of us as families and friends and partners. And there's been such a divide between the whole world that it's so hard for us to in ourselves even connect back in to the vulnerability of it all. Vulnerability keeps coming up in such a key way. Being able to be vulnerable with people. Being able to sit there and say, listen, I am feeling really upset right now. I am feeling really abandoned, feeling really alone. And I know it's coming from my own trigger and trauma, but this is what's created that reaction. This is what's contributed to that. Yeah, so I think that's really important to reflect upon, is how is our mental health at the moment? How is our emotional body communicating through us? Because I know, having suffered with what we know as mental health in the past, recently I've had hard times, and I've had higher anxiety, I've had more stress, I've had agitation and overwhelm, and this has been something that has created a problem in my human life, and I have had to slow it down and think, okay, why? What's going on here? And I've had to work on going to a hypnotherapy session, working on the subconscious mind and the emotional mind, communicating out my needs and vocalising them with someone. I have had to look at my physical diet and exercise more, get more vitamin D, sunshine, working outside to connect in with the energies and do the same things at the same time. I've had to really be aware of my thoughts and make sure I'm including and incorporating such an immense amount of gratitude, because we all know gratitude is key. But we forget to just have gratification for the small, tiny details, like this beautiful sun in this moment, these chairs, this outside space that I have access to. That is something to be so, so grateful for. And just having these things as a reminder constantly of the beautifulness and the joy of life keep us on that alignment. So we have to check in with the mind, body, soul, and then looking at any soul contracts, any potential energetic previous attacks or attachments that have been sent upon you that you've not cleared any cords or protected yourself against. Maybe clearing the home energetically, clearing yourself, working with the higher self, doing some meditation, really connecting in with the spiritual side of yourself, and clearing off any energetic creations and contracts and bonds that have been made throughout the years, and recognising where they are, and looking at healing as what it is as a multifaceted aspect. Healing is not something that's just one thing, there you go, there's the answer, and now you fix. Again, it was just not going to be that easy to come down and experience this human game. It's all about these levels and the different experiences, to connect back into the heart and remember that Christ consciousness, that connection to source, that connection to oneness, that connection to God, whatever you want to call it. Remember that connection to the light and being able to see the truth for what it really is. how many of us recognise and was able to see the truth for what it really is over the past few years, clearer than ever. Some of us knew before, some of us learned along the way and added on additional information. But yeah, it's really important to recognise that we knew it in our souls, and it only took us to remember. I'll just read that. Beautiful. Oh, thank you so much, Patricia. Just left a beautiful comment about the mediumship, and the way of teaching there is just grounding in. Can't see with the sunglasses on because it's sunny here, but that was such a beautiful message. Thank you so much. And I'm really grateful for all you guys that recognise the work that you're doing, the work that we're doing, the work that we all put in. Like, we're all part of this mission, and that's why we have to observe the ego for what it is in people, in places, in businesses, in aspects of spirituality, because it is a big thing, is ego in the spiritual world. And we have to be able to observe what feels right to our heart and what connects in with our heart space, because we have the power. We have the power that we search for in other people, that we admire in other people, that we connect to in other people. We have that within us. And we are seeing a reflection of ourselves, and we have this admiration and this joy. We are all connected in the part of Source. We're all beings of Source. We're all part of the oneness. So we all have accessibility to information, to guidance, to wisdom, magic, accessibilities and abilities beyond our imagination, but we've just been kept completely disconnected in the mind, body, soul. We're in the physical human world, in the matrix. We've been completely locked away from that magic, from that connection to Source. And those that have found that connection sooner reflect that back, and you see that connection to the oneness that you have within you. That's what we see in others, and it really is so beautiful that we're able to see that reflection in each other. And I'm very grateful to bring that to what we do, but also to allow other people to have accessibility to that as well, because again, we have all a part of this puzzle piece. We have all a jigsaw piece, and the way I translate messages, the way I reflect, the way I then transmute that and release that and reflect that onto others will be completely different to the next person and the next person and the next person, because if we all had the same piece of the jigsaw, it would just be a complete duplicate of millions of pieces. We have to have our own individual pieces of reflection to be able to bring a sense of individuality, uniqueness, creation, power, magic. Because how about when we're in them situations and we're stuck and we're thinking, how do we move forward, how do we get out of this, and someone comes along, your partner, your friend, a random stranger, with the best idea, the best little bit of wisdom, magic that's been added in, that just creates a whole new pathway that wasn't in the consciousness before, wasn't in your creation of reality, because you've not had that pathway built. And that addition of ideas just created a whole new world, a whole new pathway for us to explore, because we're here to learn from each other and to grow from each other and to expand from each other, and to think that's not what I want to be, that's not a reflection of who I am, but this is over here and this is where I'm drawn. And to be able to observe, reflect, transmute, expand. And we all have to tune in to what our little piece is, to what our little jigsaw piece, our little magic, our little sense of self. Once we tap into our authentic true self and are able to transform into that, that's when we're able to, on an energetic, physical level, and we're still always transforming, but when we're able to access it, that's when we're able to access that magic and that wisdom and that ability to connect in, and also to stand in that and to observe and to see that. So yes, it is a really beautiful, weird time that we're in, but a really beautiful time. And we have to connect that back to what we were just talking about with the mental health, in terms of knowing that once we are this deeper connected being, once we are this more powerful, more wisdom, more deeply healer, and all these, I'm channeling into the words, they're just not even flowing in English, but you guys know what I mean. Once we know as true potential, once we have access to that in any way, even if we slip down back to the human, once we have access to that in any way, it's next level, it's changed the perspective, and it allows us to have a new pathway, a new gateway, a new doorway for when we're feeling stuck and restricted and confined in the mind with the mental health pressures, or the pressures of the world and the stresses and everything that's coming at us. We're able to open that doorway over there and expand out of this space and release out of this heaviness and this suppression that we get into in the cycle of mental health. And a couple of techniques I use is the pop it and swap it method. So the pop it and swap it method is Literally, if a thought comes in and the thought is, I can't do that, I'm not good enough, I don't have enough money, and all these are examples, higher self, by the way. Any of these thoughts that you have about yourself, or even ones about weight, or family, or anything that you have, and you don't want that thought, you don't want that program, you don't want that system, you don't want that vibration running in your current human life, we put the thought in a bubble. And again, that can be anything, any bubble, any shape, whatever it wants to be for you. And you can have two options. You can either swipe it to source, swipe it away to oneness, or you can pop it out of existence just into a million pieces, back to source, back to oneness. And we want to swap it with a thought that brings in the new reality, the new program, the new creation of what you want to create in this now moment. So we swap this with, I am abundant, I am flowing, I am powerful, I am creative, my body is a reflection of my true high self. And even if we don't believe them at the time, it's really important to reprogram that consciousness. When you've acknowledged that that's not the thought I want to have, that's not the cycle I want to create in this now moment, okay, what cycle do you want to create? Choose and take back the control to be able to have access to that. Oh, sorry, the dogs are barking there. The neighbour will just bark for a second while the neighbour walks past. Yeah, boundaries about opening up to work. Really good spiritual housekeeping. Oh, bless you. Yeah, one of my biggest things, as any of you guys that know have done my courses, is protection, boundaries, grounding. It's just so important. I do have the power of protection that will be available on Honey School, and it's on my website, I think, as well. So that is just like a little mini webinar about the power of protection, spiritual protection, because it is just so important. I do have a YouTube video about that as well, so there's loads of access to that. But any form of protection is so important, and grounding and boundaries with humans and spirit and all that, just sets the precedent like we would if we was working in a new environment. So I love that. And we can relate that to the thoughts as well, boundaries, not allowing ourselves to go down that cycle and to get back into them cycles that we've already expanded out of. We've already leveled up out of these consciousnesses and these programs and levels and patterns in place. So we have to allow ourselves to put the boundary in place with the self and know that we're not going there again, we're not going down them cycles again, we're not allowing this energy to take over our sense of being. So that is really important. Thank you for bringing that up. And then we've got the zoom out method, which is very similar. You guys will know this probably as well, but pop it and swap it, as we know, is sending that away, getting rid of that to source, bringing it in with a newer vibration from the heart. The next one is when you're in a situation where you are feeling overwhelmed, stressed, can't see clear, don't know how to move forward, feeling really, just anxiety, overwhelm, stress and anxieties. That's the best time to shut your eyes or just do it in your mind and just float above your body. Not too far, you don't have to go too far. You've always got a silver cord tethering you, protecting you anyways, and your higher self will do that with you. But you want to look down on the perspective, so zoom out, or even looking like you're zooming out on the phone, zooming out of the perspective in your mind, zoom out, zoom out, zoom out, and allow yourself to look at it from a bigger perspective, look at it from a higher perspective. Whether it's finance, family, emotional health, physical health, whatever it is that you are experiencing at that time, allow yourself to expand above it, rise above it, and see the situation on a smaller level, see the situation with more clarity, more guidance, more understanding, more vision. That 99% and 99% of the times allows us to just feel, okay, I'm okay, I know where I'm at, I know how I'm feeling, I know how to deal with this, I've got this, and that's what we kind of just got to do. And sometimes we can gain that insight and that outside influence from his higher self or his guides or spirit world, and we can be like, right, okay, that's the pathway, I see the understanding for this, I see the reasonings behind this, the meanings, the lessons, the expansions, and I know how to move forward. So again, zooming out as we're just kind of in that moment, in the human body, getting the overwhelm of the emotions and it's agitating us, let's just shake it off and zoom out so that we're not stuck in that stagnant energy. So there are a couple of the techniques that I use for clearing off any shit, basically. And there has been a lot of shit lately that's been coming up. So we do need to be careful of what thoughts are coming in, how we're feeling in the morning, how we're feeling going to bed, putting in protection, calling in the Christ-like, calling in the oneness, calling in the divine energy, the guides, the angels, the loved ones, the higher selves, whatever resonates to you. Only call in what you feel calling into your higher self. Please don't call in anything that doesn't feel in alignment to you. It's just got to be what you are drawn to at this time. But it's really important for us to just connect in with this moment. Time feels like it's speeding by really fast at the moment, even though it's quite slow at the same time, like Groundhog Day. At the same time, everything is moving in a like a big chunk, fast pace, all at one time. A lot of things are happening in small amounts of time, which make it feel bigger and more stretched out. So it is important to just check in with this present moment again in them overwhelming times, or even not just in the moment. Look around, what can you see, smell, and hear? What can you feel in your energy vibration? The wind, the birds, the colours. Just observe for a second to really connect in with yourself. To know that nothing is as big as it seems in the moment. And also everything is beautiful when we reflect in the moment. And know that we won't get this moment again. We can't just come back and experience the same moment in the same vibration, the same perspective, same understanding. So for all of it, if we have gratitude and awareness and understanding for it, it allows for so much growth and for so much gratitude and joy for it. You know, even through the struggling times, we were able to do that, and we were able to observe who supported us and who were there and what truth came out of those times. Because so much truth comes out of struggle. So much truth. So we do need to look at that a little bit in what it is reflecting, in our lives right now. How can we have a pause and check in with what's coming up, and how can we check in with the moment and just reflecting with the current moment and observe the people, the places, the memories, the colours, the experiences, the music, all of it. Observe it all and just soak it in, and then let whatever you need to let go. So yeah, so then I was running a channel and I was thinking, okay, what's coming up? And it kept saying, right, we need to kind of check back over the past 6 months and have a reflection. And as I said, a lot's happened in small amounts of time, and I feel back to January and I think, whoa, it doesn't feel that long ago, but it also feels like a long time ago in who I am now to who I was then, and to what I've learned and everything, you know. And in terms of what I see my life as now and where that's going and how everything's changed, it is a lot to digest and also process. But I think we also take for granted the everyday amazing things that happen and that we do and that we allow ourselves to get through, and we allow ourselves to push through and keep persevering. And I think it's just about maybe looking through each month and checking January, February, March, April, all the way up to June, writing down 3 things that we're really proud of, or you don't even need to do it in any structured way, just having a look back either through your photos, your videos, thoughts, memories, you know, and thinking back through your calendars. What stood out to me? What did I learn from? Where did I grow? You know, how did I allow myself to expand in these months? What challenged me? What amplified me? What tore me down and rose me up like the phoenix? And allow yourself to observe them points and observe your strength and your power and wisdom, potential and capabilities. Because that is what keeps us understanding how we move forward. So I think it is about reflection, to reflect. And then I channeled in, I think it's the full moon, so I was like, oh. So then I checked, and it is actually a full moon on Saturday. And the full moon is a strawberry moon. And it's about reflecting back to the past of the recent labours of hard work and dedication and determination. And now being able to reap the rewards of that, being able to harvest the strawberries. So it is about reflecting in what work have you put in and looking at that, because we're so busy to criticise ourselves, we're so busy to look at ourselves in ways that not tear us down, but think, oh, we need to do this, we need to do that, and we need to be doing this, because we're always moving forward and growing, which is great. But we also just need to sometimes look and think, oh, okay, yeah, you did really well on that, you expanded on that, you planted loads of energetic seeds there, and you worked hard, and this is coming to fruition. And look at how far you have come. Look at what you have created. You know? I feel massively different inside within the last 6 months too. Some people who have pushed my boundaries in the past, I'm not quite sure how to be around it. And there you go. That's the thing. Like, people are going to not know how to adjust to this authentic version of you, because we have been so indoctrinated and taught to live a life built upon these walls of feeling unworthy. So when we tap into our true worth and our true potential, and we start living that and embodying that and expecting that from the people around us, there is either an alignment into place with these people that are from their heart space, or there's a reverberation of friction and tension and resentment and anger and all this shit, because they don't reflect your worth, they don't reflect their own worth, so they're reflecting that in a projection of expectation and obligation onto you. So it's a really, really, really strange time we are going through, and we have to know that even in the times when we think, oh, have we done the right thing, were we a bit too harsh, because you'll feel the guilt still. I still feel the guilt sometimes. I still feel the little bit questioning, and then I'll go, oh no, pop it and swap it, send it on its way. And if you miss what I'm talking about there, you can skip it back and watch further in the video about popping and swapping it in the mind. But yeah, it's hard sometimes to stay into that authentic self of knowing that you are worth more than what you have been led to believe, than what you've been given, than what we've been expected to just accept, because that's not that bad, you know. And we have to reflect and expand on what it is that we actually need and how we feel, and then implementing that as well, as long as it's not coming from a place, you know, for us, we can implement our own needs, but setting boundaries in place to make sure people know that you're allowed to do that, and you're allowed to do that as a top priority. And another thing I wanted to mention is a lot of mother wounds are coming up right now, a lot of mother bonds with the divine feminine connection, the ancestral wounds within the feminine line, mothers, daughters, grandmas, aunties, a lot of mother wounds coming up. And I think my personal opinion is because the divine feminine does experience things a little bit faster sometimes. It experiences the expansion sometimes first, and I think what they're having to do is expand and level with each other to be able to hold a sacred space for the divine masculine to rise with more ease and more comfort and support and protection, which then results in protection for the divine feminine and a equal balance. But yeah, I went a bit off there, but that's how I see it. And what's coming up in specifically is an understanding and a deeper understanding on a human level and on a spiritual level of the needs from the mother, the needs from the women. There has been so many women in life that tear each other down, that are jealous and insecure and nasty and bitchy and judgmental and critical. And we have to reflect on why we've been taught to sabotage each other so much and to damage each other in so many ways with such horrible, nasty words and reflections of bitterness. And now you don't see it. I see a lot more beautiful, heart-centered women complementing each other, loving on each other, supporting each other. But what I don't see as much right now in my current experience is a community of women. A community of women to hold sacred space for each other, for themselves, to ask for that, to create that, to facilitate that, and to implement that with others, to co-create in a way that feels equal and balanced and harmonised, a way that creates such an experience that's so energetically, physically, emotionally, online, family, friends, business, whatever it is. As women, it is almost like one of our jobs. Our roles as a divine feminine being is to support the other divine feminine beings and to create a synchronicity and a space, a platform for us to lean on each other and ask for support and feel vulnerable and feel able to heal these wounds, because we don't have to do this work on our own. Yet 90% of us are doing it on our own, struggling and going through these emotions and having to navigate that and unpack that alone. And women going through pregnancy and postpartum, I have discovered there are so many people so alone, and it's so inverted to just come round and take the newborn baby, pull that, and completely ignore the needs of that new mum and what she's just gone through and all the experiences and emotional and the words, the sensitivity of words throughout pregnancy, the expectations, the violations of that woman. There's just so much to unpack here, so much then trauma around birth, so much then trauma around having a child and the expectations around that, and then just living as a woman in this divine feminine time. It is a really, real lot to unpack here and a lot to navigate through. And because of the wounds that our mothers and their mothers and grandmothers and aunties and have all had, it's these generations and generations of unhealed women, not all of them, but a lot of them, then passing that on to other people and creating these cycles of broken women that are not supported and not able to ask for support and not able to create that sacred community, myself included, you know. So yeah, I think we're all having to navigate that, and we're having to navigate how our relationship with our divine feminine roles, mothers, grandmas, feminine beings, how are with our own children or beings in our life, how we are with our friends and our circle of girls if we have one, and really just reflecting on that mother wound and looking at that inner child within us, that little girl or little boy, mainly girl with the wounds that are going on with the feminine at the moment, but it could be male too, but mainly female, the little girl within self that is really just wanting validation and love and support from her mum, or from someone that can make her feel supported in her own true embodiment, rather than a version of her that is accepted because it pleases people around her and it's not too noisy or disruptive or too dramatic or too attitude or too anything. But it's not true to my soul. And we were so taught to live like that, to live so false. And it's so sad. But we're here to change that, and we're here to rise above that. But we have to recognise when it's happening within ourselves, to others, projecting that onto others. We have to recognise that. We have to look at that, and we have to observe and recognise, oh shit, my inner child within me, the little girl within me, just wants to be loved. Beautiful. Thanks, Patricia. Have a beautiful day. Look after yourself, sweetie. Yep. Yeah. So I think that kind of expands a lot of what I wanted to talk about energetically today. The full moon is on Saturday, so if you guys do work with the moon energy, for me it's all about intention, it's all about energy, it's all about water, vibration and elements. I don't really tap into, I know a lot of people think good and bad things about the moon. I don't really tap into, I understand both and I understand the perspectives on both. But in my personal opinion, I just use the energy and the intention for good and for healing and for releasing. So if you are using the moon's energy this weekend for that same reason, on Saturday the 3rd of June, I would, or before, up until that point, but that is when the full moon is specifically, but up until that point as well, I would start to have a little journal, a little reflect, look at your pictures, look at the past year and a reflection on what you've gone through and what you've experienced and how you rose above, how you've gone through these trials and tribulations and challenges and the joyful memories as well, and what them experiences have shaped for your life in this now moment, and what that's created for you. Doesn't need to be lots, but you can go into more detail. It's completely up to yourselves on what feels comfortable there. So you may want to jot these down, you may not, remember. But then this again is just an example of creating a sacred space for the full moon with positive heartfelt intention. You guys can do this in whatever way you want, whatever way is drawn to you. But the most important thing is cleansing the space, clearing out the energetic vibrations of any stagnant energy. So whether you use sage, incense, Palo Santo, any form of holy water or cinnamon or essential oil spray, whatever works for you to clear out the space, cleanse the home, cleanse yourself, cleanse the animals, cleanse the whole vibrational area, cleanse anyone in the home, and also through the walls, through the ground and through the above, so that you can clear out anything that's lingering in the actual house itself, in the ground itself, in the land, in the gardens. To do that, literally just send balls of light or rays of light from your hands and feet into the earth, into the walls and above, and seal any space, cracks and gaps with gold. So that can be a really beautiful method of clearing the space and protecting the space. And then we want to call upon our team. So call upon your spirit guides, your loved ones, your angels, your inspirers, your Indians, your ETs, your animals, your higher self, or one in specific, or a couple, or the whole team, whatever works for you. But we want to call upon support from the highest heart, from the love and light vibration of oneness, and we want to call in that energy of protection and love to create a sacred space. We can light a candle. We can use, with it being a strawberry moon, I would use like rose essential oils, or bergamot, or even grapefruit. You know, we could make something with real strawberries, go harvesting, or make some sort of strawberry cheesecake, or strawberry milkshake, strawberry ice cream. You know, really connecting with the fruit itself as well. But also, the main point of it is to reflect upon the fruits of your labour, and to be able to harvest in that, to be able to envision and create the reality you want to receive from the work and the seeds you've planted. And if you want to plant more seeds now for the rest of the year to harvest them later on, this is a fantastic time to do that. So be writing down and visualising what you want to be pulling up out of the earth into your human life, connecting into you, what we want to receive on a physical, emotional and spiritual level, and why you want to receive that, what are the reasons why, and how can we facilitate receiving that on a human level more so. So I think it is really important to just connect in with this energy if you want to, and use the herbs, use the essential oils, use everything like that that can create a sense of deeper connection and understanding with the moon's energy, and just reflect on how you can harvest up that growth, that joy, that potential, and that sacred magic that's been simmering under the earth waiting to be accessed. So I'm going to pick 2 cards for you guys, and then I think I've channeled in all I want to channel in. It was actually a longer video than I previously anticipated. I must have got on my little channel train as I get sometimes a bit overwhelmed, not overwhelmed, carried away, that's the best word. So we've got sacral energy, and we wanted 3. I do not need anyone to feel strong. Today I am practicing self-worth and inner strength. So this is a reminder and a remembrance, and a great affirmation for you guys to use daily, or just today specifically. Today I am practicing self-worth and strength. I do not need anyone to feel strong. This is about reminding yourself that you do not need validation or respect from other people to respect and validate yourselves. If you have self-worth, if you have a precedent and a standard within self on how you want to be treated and received, then it's up to other people in your life if they accept that or not. And if they don't accept that, then that's when we make the changes on a human level to not have them vibrations affecting our vibration on a daily basis. So it is really important to recognise that you have the power, you have the potential to access that at any given time. Just remember that and tap into that. So then we've got one about the sacral chakra, which I mentioned in the last video about Kundalini activation and sacral flow. It is linked just below, so it might not be linked, sorry, but it is in the previous video just below. So if you want to have access to that, please check that out. It's all about the things that are going on right now in the womb space with the sacral chakra and the Kundalini awakening, and a lot of the pain and guilt and shame and everything that's releasing out of there, and being able to access into our deeper desires, our deeper sense of sacral and sensual aspects of self that we've suppressed and shamed for a long time. So I am a wonderful lover. I allow myself to be confident and express myself. Today I am allowing my sexual energy to flow. Now this does not have to be with other people, this can be with self. Look at yourself in the mirror and feel sexy. Name 3 things about yourself that look powerful, beautiful, exciting, and start to think about that part of self that we lock away and shun away and don't let them thoughts come up because of shame and guilt and repression when we did allow that part of self and it was shoved down. So we want to really allow ourselves to tap into that energy when we're comfortable, but that is something that needs to be accessed to access the sacral self and the full aspects of integration, to not be shaming and locking anything in that womb space, in that sacral chakra. And finally, I am at one with Mother Earth. I am the dirt, the wind, the air and the sea. Today I am immersing myself into nature and the elements. So take that as your daily reminder to get out into nature, to become one with nature, to sit with your feet in the river, in the sea, in the sand, the soil, the grass. Connect in ground, visualize roots coming out of your feet, connecting into the earth, deep into the core, if you want to, if that feels resonant. Connecting your energy to Mother Earth. Know that you are a part of this earth as it is a part of you. You belong here. This is your home. and we need to get out of the human restriction and really off these little homes, these little boxes, and back into the world. Look at the trees, look up at the sky, connecting with your life and your beautiful experience that we are living. These cards are available on the website, guys, spiritualsoulcentre.co.uk. These are the Soul Speak Affirmation deck. They're £22.50p. We do ship all over the world, so wherever you need to go, let us know. But yeah, remember, guys, get out in nature, look after yourselves, don't be so harsh on yourselves, and just take care. It's a weird time, and there's a lot of weird stuff surfacing. So just protect yourselves and really look after yourselves. I need to put this on the phone. So yeah, I think that's it for the information today. We are running the retreat. The tickets are on sale. Oh, I'm really glad you have them cards. I'm so glad. It's so cool to see my cards all over wherever you are. Thank you so much for putting that in. And make sure you are connecting in with these beautiful cards. If you get them out in the sunshine or the moonlight, connect them in, cleanse them. Because they are, even though I made them, I'm quite biased, I've really loved them. They are bringing in such beautiful energy for me and for others, so I'm really grateful to anyone that has purchased a pack of cards. Thank you so much. We are running a retreat. The last tickets are in Spain. It's going to be in the beautiful sunny Spain in July the 14th. It's a 2-part retreat, so you can either go to the first part till the 18th or 2 parts till the 21st. All the information is linked on Spiritual Soul Centre, but you buy the tickets on mindbodysoulretreats.co.uk. So I will link everything below. The tickets, we have got them as reasonably priced as possible to hire the villa and the chef and everything like that. So we will be having a private villa, we will be having a 3-day meal, 3 meal a day, catering, and some entertainment, some music. There'll be some beautiful workshops that are being held by some powerful, attuned, connected readers, healers, channelers. Myself, Trisha, and Yugi will be doing some deep activations within the mind, body, and soul, reconnecting multiple aspects of self, integrating those aspects of self into a deeper cellular level. So it's going to be some real powerful, magical experiences going on that retreat. It is going to be quite an intimate retreat, and there is only limited spaces available, and the tickets are on sale until the 10th of June. So please, I was going to say July, but I realised it was June. It is June, 10th of June. Please do get in touch if you want to come with us and connect in with this magical experience, because it really is going to be once in a lifetime, and I do think it's going to be powerful for myself because it's before I embark on the journey of motherhood to a human instead of an animal, and I think it's going to be really expansive for everyone there and to change a lot of things, so it's going to be great. I'm really excited. I'm excited to see you there, Lucy. It's going to be so good. So anyone that's booked on, obviously, thank you so much. We're just going to have the most amazing time. And it is going to be a very intimate, smaller thing. But that's sometimes where the real magic is made, is, in a smaller group and connecting in and doing that magical energy. Because you can get that one-on-one time as well. So, yes, anybody that wants any information, I will put all the information down below. But mindbodysoulretreats.co.uk. And that's for the retreats, and for the website in general, any sessions, anything like that, will be at spiritualsoulcentre.co.uk. So I will not be doing sessions after the back end of September. I will put more information about that till the end of the year, because I will be having a little baby, a beautiful little soul that is coming into this world, Earthside. So yeah, if you are wanting a session one-to-one, do get in touch before then. And if you are wanting to do any work with us, there's loads of courses on Honey School, on the World Endeavour Project. There is obviously my website for all the everything extra. So I think that's all the updates. I always find them bits more human, but I managed to get them out, and they're important. So, but yeah, anybody needs anything, please get in touch. We've got all the Telegram groups, everything will be linked. But look after yourselves, take care, and I will see you on the next video. I really am going to prioritise coming on YouTube more. But I've been navigating through a whole world of integrations myself, and I'm always honest with you, I'll keep it real. Sometimes YouTube is too much when you're going through an integration and you're still processing. It's hard to relate that to others, but I hope I did it justice today, and I hope you guys keep well, and I will see you soon. Look after yourselves, love and light, protection. Look after yourselves as always, and I'll see you later. Bye.